guys? Welcome back to another episode of Frenemies. We got Doug O and Mike still here. And looks like he's dead.
Jason's not supposed to talk, so it's hard to do the show. We got Halloween coming up this week. Doug O brought up something important.
Girls?
Yes, we talk about money, we talk about success, and then who's going to take us seriously. But maybe we're trying to reach a younger audience. To me, there isn't a distinction. You can have fun. You can still do interesting stuff and then talk about serious topics and know what you're doing. Part of knowing what you're doing is doing it. You can't tell people to be successful if you haven't had some success. You can't tell them to take risks if you haven't taken any yourself. You can't give people advice, or you shouldn't, unless you've tried it and failed and then tried it and succeeded.
Sure.
I'm just going to wear this forever because this will probably get my wife to do what I want her to do, maybe the kids, maybe even the dog. And just like COVID, you can't tell if I'm laughing, if I'm rolling my eyes. Could constantly be rolling my eyes.
Tell you what, that COVID thing wearing masks was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
I liked it when they got really hardcore about it and they were showing particles projecting out of people's faces. You know?
Yeah.
Physics on the breath.
That stuff is really weird. I watch a lot of videos online and you see events. I watch like shoplifting videos and police, DUI arrests and people pulled over. So you see a lot of the recent ones were COVID. A couple of years ago, people on planes with the masks. It's funny. That must have been great for celebrities because they could walk around. I mean, they can still do that. Maybe they've always done that. They walk around with those masks on so people don't know who they are.
Well, supposedly all these lizard people are wearing masks all day long, right? And every celebrity is a clone, like 25th removed.
Speaking of that, there was a show a few years ago, a great one, a TV series called V. You should go back and watch that. And that was what happened is they had like human masks on, these like lizards. Yeah.
I did like how creative the COVID masks got. People were very creative.
Yeah. That COVID thing is a whole issue. I went to talk to a natural healer, not that I know what I'm talking about, but my healer acupuncturist, I sat down with her. I try and do one thing right a month, and that was the one thing right that month. I said, what is this? What's COVID? What are these shots? Please educate me, because I have no idea, completely ignorant on that. I sat down with her. She explained exactly what it was. I didn't have this knife, but she said, this is what COVID is. This is what COVID-19 is. This is how long it's been around. This is what this version is. This is what this shot does and that shot does and this. She's like, all I do all day is research how to heal people. So when something like this comes up, I have some background knowledge, and then I have to deal with the new facts, the new vaccines, and figure those out so I can explain it to people like you. And based on what she said, I didn't get any of the shots, and neither did my wife. What was wild is someone I really respect and look up to, Howard Stern, as a comedian, as a talk show host, as a radio guy. He was so adamant about getting the shots, and he went way overboard on that. Everybody's got their problems. He's in therapy too. But I thought that was a mistake. He really went overboard on you have to do this, you have to do that. And it turns out, depending on who you listen to, all of those shots were BS.
What about successes? You said you do, what did you say? You said one thing right a month. What about successes per month?
What I try and do is have everything in life is very simple with layers of complexity. It's like I want to have a kid. All right, that's very simple. We kind of know how that works. If you're a man married to a woman, no judgment. Everyone is equal on the show. So 2 women, 2 men. But let's say a man and a woman, monogamous relationship, you know how to get her pregnant. And hopefully, if that's what you're trying to do, she gets pregnant without any problems. So that's where the layers of complexity. If she doesn't get pregnant, then you have to look into that. Look into, is it the male problem? Is it a female problem? Is it both of you? Is it stress? then, you know, you have all the hormones and shots and in vitro, then it gets complicated. But the idea of having a kid is simple. Let's do this. So money, I know what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to purchase income. So I look at the Robert Kiyosaki rich dad, poor dad way of doing things. So he has it very simple, the cash flow quadrant. And if you buy assets, right, that pays you. An asset puts money in your pocket. It's cash flow. That's the whole point. Okay? Liability takes money out of your pocket. So your own private individual home you live in, according to Robert, is a liability, not an asset. It takes money out of your pocket unless you rent out the garage, use it for business, rent out rooms. You somehow get money from it. Otherwise, it's a liability. So I buy as many assets as I can, and that pays for my life. And then I, just like Kiyosaki says, I borrow against properties to buy more. All right? There's no tax on debt. So I take the debt and I buy more income with it. And with that income, I can get stupid crap like this dumb see-through sword, which is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I would trade my wedding ring for this sword. This is really cool.
Right? Where's your wedding ring at?
I mean, I traded my wedding ring for this sword and this outfit. So this is Jason. This is Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees, the coolest things ever. Halloween's coming up. So this is Jason from the Friday the 13th TV show, which I think I sort of remember, but I don't exactly. And that's the blue mask and the purple. And that's really cool. So that's why I got it for this Halloween.
So you're talking about these assets, right? Buying assets. How do you feel about it's not an asset when you initially buy it and you have to convert it into an asset? So it's a liability when you buy it. You have to convert it into an asset. So here's an example. You buy the house, it's a liability until you fix it up and flip it, or fix it up and rent it, or fix it up and sell it, right? Or let's say something like a car, like a Porsche 911. You buy it, you're out all this money, and you can't really drive it either if the idea is to sell it 20 years later for a lot more money as an asset.
Yeah, it's a means to an end. Everything is a means to an end. You just have to keep going. And to answer Duggo's question is this: yes, if I buy an investment property that I'm going to rent out, and in the current model of what I'm using, I need to modify that property, which takes a little bit of time and money. So now I'm out the down payment, the closing costs, then the furnishings, and then the walls or the remodel or whatever I need to do, signage, door locks, repairs, improvements, all of that stuff takes time and money. Part of that is the carry costs. So I might have 1 or 2 or 3 mortgage payments, include taxes and insurance, power bills, water bills. So he's right. It takes money to make money, but that's that opportunity cost and the ROI. So I'm buying this much income. It's always going to take some sort of a sacrifice. So if you have your bank account is like this and you're purchasing income, your bank account's going to go down to here, and then it's going to take a few months. But then you've purchased cash flow. So you work once and you get paid forever. That's Kiyosaki.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And the best thing about Robert Kiyosaki is that he's got the word sake in his name. And from now on the Frenemies show, every time we say Robert Kiyosaki, we're going to do a shot of sake bombs. Well, if you did a sake bomb every time, you'd probably pass out. But if you just do a shot, yeah. I love me some hot sake, man. And so does my guy Jason Voorhees here.
I'm not a big fan of the hot drinks.
Well, more for me.
Yeah.
So that's how you look at life. You see that? That's a very good metaphor. More for me. All right? Everyone's equal on the show. Everyone. So we don't care if gay, lesbian, your politics or religion. We see everyone as equal. So if a man is gay, that's great. More women for us.
More orgasms for him.
I'm married. Let me see if I can saw this finger off. And then, technically. But that's how you see it. You look at things as a positive. They're putting in apartments next door. Oh no, the traffic. You know what I see? You know what I see? I see people who are going to purchase homes from my wife, who's a realtor. I see people who are going to hire me and my construction company to hang drapes and televisions and things like that. It's an apartment. They're not going to redo the kitchen or bathroom, but they might hire you to do a few things, a couple of small things. We have rental cars. They might rent our sports cars. We might rent out this studio, right? So they might do that. They might have a couple of cars of their own. If I have a garage, maybe they could rent that. So you look at the positive of what there is. There's always some sort of a positive, a silver lining, as Bradley Cooper and J-Law mentioned, Jennifer Lawrence.
So talking about assets and silver lining and positive during the time of COVID, right? What happened there, right? So, for example, every house in Florida went up 150K in equity. So everyone in Florida who had property had potential to start buying assets, become rich, do what they need to do. 150K is a lot of money to have some fun with. I myself did something random. I like to kayak, so I noticed that kayaks went from $200 up to $500 during the pandemic. So I started flipping kayaks. I was buying them and reselling them, just nonstop, cash coming in. It's stupid, but everyone out there wanted to be alone because of the rules of the pandemic, and they wanted to be outside, away from people. So everyone started kayaking here in Florida.
Yeah. Everything is a learning experience. That's what Duggo's trying to say, or succeeding in saying. Okay? So you have to look at it like that. You can't go back. You can't change it. There's a really great song called Can't Go Back. There Ain't No Future in the Past.
Who sings it?
Oh, boy.
Exactly.
It's Matt Kearney. I heard it when I was doing yoga. It's real catchy. It's a very good song. Interesting video. But you got to learn from it. The people who had all their money in Airbnbs got wiped out by COVID. People stopped traveling. Okay? So maybe that makes sense. Don't put all your eggs in the one thing. Those people went bankrupt, or they had to convert them to regular rentals or sell or borrow against them.
Yeah.
Learn from it. What happened in 06, 7, 8, 9? You want to have some ownership in your property. I like having 20, 25% down. I've got some ownership, some equity. When things go up like COVID, then you borrow against that equity the way that I like to do it, which is the opposite of Dave Ramsey. No judgment. Ramsey's good for certain people. There's certain things like that. Ramsey's good for these people. Clark Howard's good for maybe everybody. Susie Orman is good for these people. Then there's Kiyosaki and Tony Robbins and all the other people there who talk about this stuff.
Bottom line, you can make money doing anything. There is a millionaire janitor out there. There is a millionaire booger picker out there. There is a millionaire grass cutter out there. Every job can make you, quote unquote, rich, or at least make you enough money to be happy.
Yeah. You just got to get started. It's very good to listen to podcasts, listen to stand-up comedy, talk shows, read things. You learn little snippets here and there. Like Dana White says, if you're a savage today in 2025, there are so many opportunities to win. You just have to do it. You got to do Schwarzenegger. You work 18 hours a day. He worked bodybuilding 5 hours a day, acting classes 5 hours a day. Then he had to make money. He was a bricklayer. So 18 hours he put into it. He didn't waste 1 minute. And look at his life now. Probably the greatest success story maybe in the history of the world. Pretty cool. I mean, he screwed it all up by banging his maid. But, these things happen. All right? But the point is, you just have to do it. And we talk in generalities because we don't know your situation. If you're a DJ, if you paint fine art, if you're someone who makes their own arts and crafts, if you work on automobiles or boats. So the idea is you just have to do it and figure it out. And you can't figure it out being scared.
And if you want help, you can always reach out to us, and we'll gladly talk to you about it.
Yeah. What's our email address?
Do we have one?
We do have one. So we need to figure all that stuff out. It's like, just contact us nowhere. You can subscribe on frenemiesshow.com.
Yep.
And then you can comment there, and that will go directly to our emails. And then we might answer it.
Yeah, you can find all the links and stuff, too, down below. So you'll see it.
Yeah, we answer emails between 12 and 12:05 every Wednesday, which is when we're on the air. So you can figure that one out. But we're going to get to that. What we should do is fake emails and fake phone calls, and then we can like respond. It's like, here's an email from Sue J, and she says, "Why is Duggo so hot?"
Because I do it. I make it happen.
All right, so that answers the question. See, that's all you got to do. But it's such good times. Halloween coming up. There's always a silver lining. There's always something positive, and you have to stay that way. No matter what it is, it's an opportunity. Interest rates are going down. The stock market's going up. All right? You want to have some financial literacy. If you want to achieve more, no one is going to deliver it to your front door. You are not going to win the lottery. You're not going to get an inheritance. It's unlikely. The phone is not going to ring. You just have to get out and do it. You think I got this fancy, like purple, like, you know, it's like a handyman's outfit. You know, it just showed up in the mail. No, I had to go online and order it, and I had to buy some assets to pay for it. Then I had to deal with the look on my wife's face when I got it in the mail and opened it. She's like mixing baby formula for her granddaughter, and I'm like trying out the knife, and she's like, "How do I get rid of him?" Too late.
So
Too
something to take note on. We keep saying you just got to do it, right? But you and I actually had this conversation, I think it was last week, to where we were trying to figure out why that gap happens. So there's a moment in time where a person says, "Yeah, I need to do it," and then there's the amount of time where they don't know how to do it. They're trying to figure it out, and they just can't figure it out. Then there's a time where they do figure it out, and they're like, "I'm doing it." And it's very hard to find out that method of how do I do it. And I think that's different for everyone because everyone wants to do something different. And so I think that's what stops a lot of people is they don't know how to do it, whatever it is.
Great question. I can explain. If a building is tilting, okay, do you think it's the type of countertop they use? The type of windows? Maybe the flooring or the HVAC? No, it's the foundation. The foundation. You have to start with a good foundation. And the foundation is acceptance and facts. The facts are it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy, which is a real challenge for the current generation.
Yeah.
It seems more and more people are in such a hurry. I'll tell you this. If you got fame or fortune or whatever right away, you wouldn't appreciate it. You wouldn't know what to do with it, and you'd probably ruin it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's, you know, like Jimmy Carr, the comedian, the British guy, he says, it's who you become on the journey. You become more disciplined. You become more discerning. You become more financially literate. It's on the way that you figure this out. And you just have to talk to the experts. I don't know about, you know, eye health. So I go to an eye doctor and they educate me. All right, well, are you getting enough sleep? You have light color eyes. Do you wear sunglasses? When your eyes are dry, what do? I water. He said, no. Water's got bacteria. Use these drops. So you go to someone who's an expert on it. You talk to people who have done it. You don't get stock tips from your golfing buddy, and you don't, buy life insurance from your dentist. Okay, that's another thing. Clark Howard used to talk about that. I got a guy who.
Wait a minute. Wait. No. Well, then why would they take any information from you when you're dressed up in a purple shirt and a mask?
I like to have fun. Right. I like to be a different kind of person. I like to be myself. I don't do this for effect. I do things that just make me happy that I feel like it. Halloween's coming up. I don't wear this all the time.
What I'm saying is there's caveats, right? There's that layered complexity. Your dentist just might know the secret.
Maybe.
To whatever you're talking about. So if he shows you the secret and you're like, you know what, that makes sense, then it's okay, right? But they have to, again, we talked about this a couple minutes ago. They have to have tried it and failed and then tried it and succeeded. So the job you have now doesn't necessarily matter. But yeah, normally, most of the time, you don't take info from your dentist about stocks or whatever. But if they've proven it, if it's a proven method, then yeah, why not?
Maybe. So what Clark Howard says is get life insurance from a person who sells life insurance and get level term. The rest of it, is you got to look into it. It might be suspect. He says get law advice, legal advice from a lawyer,
Sure.
medical advice from a doctor. You have a fiduciary manage your money. Don't mix those. Don't go to your life insurance guy for, in my opinion, whole life or something like that. That's an investment product. Go to an investment guy for investments. Talk about money with them. Keep those things separate and delineated. I don't know about a lot of stuff. I don't know about most things. I know about cars. I know about working on houses, construction. I know about buying assets in terms of real estate. Okay? So that's what I would advise people on. I don't have to look anything up. I don't have to think about it because I know, because that's what I do. And I was a part of designing and building this room, so I have some knowledge of that. I know how to do plumbing and electric and woodwork. I did a little bit of work on this room, but I'm too old, so I hired somebody to do most of it.
This translates into relationships as well, ladies. You don't ask another fish how to catch fish, right? Don't ask your girlfriends what's wrong with your man. Go talk to your man, right? You couples out there having a hard time need to talk to each other, not your family, your friends, therapists, all that stuff. Talk to each other because you are the only two that are going to make it work.
Yeah, it does baffle me. We've all made quite a few errors in life, but people who can't communicate and then they're having a family, that's very tricky. You need to get that off the ground first. I ranted and raved about something like that this week. I saw Jennifer Lopez was on Howard Stern, which is so cool that he gets, these top people, and it takes, forever. It took his whole career. She's fascinating and interesting and beautiful and successful, hardworking, and sweet and kind and cool. But man, she got divorced when the kids were 3 years old from Mark Anthony. They're traveling the world. For my money, I would say, why don't they go off the road and work on the relationship? So if they never see each other, they're never seeing the kids. She admitted to it. She's working all the time. What do you want? You want everything. You can't have everything at once.
Well, what that is that's lying to yourself, and it's also falling for the American dream. Everyone wants that American dream. They never stop to think, should I, as a person, have the American dream? Is my American dream different than the actual American dream? And so she found out the dream that she has of being a singer and all this stuff does not mesh with the American dream, which she then tried. And I don't want to say failed at because that's not cool. That's not right. But it didn't work out the way they thought it would.
A lot of these celebrities, a lot of people's kids have problems. A lot of these celebrities' kids have problems. And I'm sure part of it is that they don't live in the real world. Everything's concierge. They're in limousines. They're traveling to movie sets. But a lot of it is their separation from their parents. The Ben Affleck did an interview with Howard Stern, and he's had his own problems with different things, but he's a bright guy. And he said that when you're raising a kid, it's your time and attention. And it's telling them you love them, that they can do hard things, and that you care about them. And that maybe they're not great at this, but they'll be great at that. And that within reason, they can succeed at everything. But you've got to be there. That's the number one thing. You can't dispute. I think Elon Musk has 12 or 15 or 25 kids. Nick Cannon has 71 kids. It's funny. If Nick Cannon sleeps 24 hours, he misses 7 birthdays. So he's in the doghouse. But there's no way he's spending any time with any of these kids. It's a little bit of FaceTime. These Hollywood people, the Tom Cruises, they're never, ever with the kids, which I do not understand at all. Why are you having them just to have somebody else raise them? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, we all make that choice, and we all mess up there. I don't understand it either. My own kid, why is my kid going to school for someone else to teach my child things I don't want them to teach or learn or whatever? Why am I sending my child to school? I should be teaching my child. But we don't live in those times to where everybody lives on a ranch and has 100 acres and the kids are there to raise cattle and all that kind of stuff. Not many people live that way anymore. So this system we've built, we are sending our kids to school and we're missing out on raising them.
Well, one of the things the reasons that Duggo's kid goes to school is because Duggo would be maybe teaching her about buzzballs and stuff like that. And
No,
she's
no.
not ready for that sort of thing.
I'm not an alcoholic, and I wouldn't teach my kid
No,
about
but
that.
I get what you're saying. You know, we're all just trying to make it. My wife said that once, and that's very important. So make what? What is that? You should help your friends. You should help your family. You should learn something every day. You should go to the gym and work out. You should take walks. You should figure out life is a game. It's a series of games. And do you want to win? I want to win, but not at other people's expense and not at all costs. I've got a couple of major douche canoes, which at some point I'll probably out, who I've run across who really screwed me over. They want to win at all costs. And I'm like, no, no, no. There's a line. I'm not going to lie, cheat, steal. I'm not going to do bad work. I'm going to use good materials. And when there's a problem, I'm going to shake your hand, look you in the eye, and I'm going to solve it. I have integrity. I'm far from perfect. I'm extremely odd. I'm very anxious. If Doug wants to sit down and talk about something, he's got about 8 seconds to get my attention, or I'm going to go drift off and do something else. Yeah. I'm like a puppy dog. Like what? I'm like a baby. What's the new shiny bright light? What's the, that's who I am. So hopefully, I can work on that. But we want everyone to succeed in every area of their life. And people know what to do. They know that water is healthier than Coca-Cola. They know that they shouldn't drink and drive. They know that when they have a drink, they shouldn't have 40. They know that, if you have a calzone once a week, that's fine. But you shouldn't morning, noon, and night be eating fast food and eating until you can barely stand. What is it? It's like you eat until you hate yourself, right?
Or you hate yourself, so you eat?
Yeah. Henry Rollins said once, eat less, eat better, move your body. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I want to get fit. I need to lose weight. I've probably lost like 12 pounds. It's just going to melt off. I intermittent fast. I try not to eat until like 4 o'clock every day, 2 or 4. And then I walk a ton. I work out at the gym now. So it's going to happen for me. It just will. It might take 6, 8 weeks. But we're going to get there. The point is, you get started.
That's a tough thing, though, when it comes to losing weight. A lot of people give up because they don't see results instantly. But all this stuff on Instagram, it's all fake. Half of it's Photoshop. The guy didn't lose 800 pounds in 12 weeks and gain 32,000 pounds of muscle and end up winning Mr. Olympia. It's impossible to do that in 12 weeks. Arnold Schwarzenegger can do it, but nobody else.
You can't give up. You never, ever give up. There's always something more to achieve. That's you never, ever quit. I watched, again, why you watch interviews, why you listen to people. Seth Rogen talked about that. When you do this, when you involve yourself in these interviews or other people's lives, you get tidbits that are very important. If you hired Tony Robbins to sit with you for 4 hours for $1 million.
He's the big dude, right?
The big dude.
Yeah.
Not everything he says is going to be golden and perfect.
It sounds great, though.
It sounds great, but there's going to be a lot of this, a lot of that. But if you get 2 or 3 or 4 huge tips out of that, that's going to be worth it. You'll make $1 billion. Shaq talked about that. He sat with Jeff Bezos, and Bezos said, invest in things that help people or change their lives. And then Shaq's net worth, went fourfold. So Seth Rogen said, about people going to Hollywood, if you go there and you don't quit, you might make it. But if you go there and you quit, I guarantee that you won't make it. That's a very subtle distinction of something extremely important. If you just keep working on it, you'll get there. If you do 100 scoops a day in a year, you'll have a pool. Maybe you do 20 the first day and you're worn out, 25 the next. Same thing with push-ups. You just have to keep moving. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep going forward. So this translates to everything that you're doing. If you're trying to learn a language, get in shape, build a business. You can't build a business watching Friends. You can't build a business getting up right before work. The second work is over, you're watching TV or you're at the bar every day like I used to, and then every night and weekend like I used to. You've got to work on it. You've got to water that plant, and then you will get there.
Yeah, another way to say the watering the plant is that anyone who's ever started a business knows that it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week effort for as long as it takes. So if you're putting in zero effort or only 1 hour of effort, you're 23 hours a day behind schedule. You have to find ways to make up those hours, 5 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time, 5 hours at a time. You have to find ways to find time and figure it out and make it work. You're also onto something too. When it comes to doing business, the best businesses out there solve problems, right? People are hungry, therefore I will feed them. Cars will break, therefore I will fix them, right? People die, therefore I dig graves for them. Whatever the problem is, you have to solve a problem. Podcasting does not really solve a problem. That's why we're doing this for fun, but we're also using it as advertising for all of our other businesses.
And by talking about something, you learn about it. I learn as much talking to people as I do just doing my own business. You have to do something to figure it out. You have to surround yourself with name brand merch in order to figure it out. You have to shamelessly plug all the crap that you sell. You got to watch it. Who was that guy in Great Britain in the 80s who said something about his antiques were crap, and then he lost like $1 billion the next day?
Dude, antiques are amazing. Those things were built to last.
Yeah.
I would gladly buy a washing machine from like the 1950s to the 1970s. They last forever. Refrigerators, same thing. Yeah.
Why would they be for sale if they last forever?
People get tired of them. They want to change the way they look. They want a modern house because they think it's better.
Yeah, This is true.
They're all mechanical. I love it. They work.
All right. But the simple things work. When you just keep going, you just keep working at it, you will figure it out and get there, no matter what your business, no matter what your industry. We're going to have email set up and the phones. We're going to have guests on the show talking about this, but it all applies the same. Schwarzenegger, ignore the naysayers, take some risks, work your ass off, make some mistakes, okay? Figure it out. Don't fear failure.
You have to fail you have to fail to succeed. Yeah.
Doug had to fail to say that.
Just then.
To succeed in saying that. I had to fail 300 times at the comedy club so that they'd allow me to go on stage and continue failing.
Yeah.
But trust me, after my 1500th failed set, I might actually say a joke somebody laughs at.
Yeah. There's like 2 or 3 that you've said that are amazing.
Doug's like, out of the 70,000 jokes you've written, there are 2 or 3 which didn't make me vomit inside my mouth, which is a high compliment.
Yeah.
All right. But we're going to pound this into anyone who listens. You just have to get up and do it. You have to figure it out. You know, you're not going to lose weight by sitting around. You're not going to lose weight by talking about it. You're not going to achieve anything by complaining. The great memes, in 6 months from now, you'll have 6 months of progress and success or 6 months of excuses. Mm. What do you want? Is the Corvette showing off? Is putting on the website how many properties we have showing off? It's showing that I have goals. What I put there is, this is what I have. This is my goal for this year. This is what I achieved. Without having the goal, how am I going to get there?
Correct. You have to have a target. If you don't have a target, you'll never hit it.
That's right. So the platitudes are always going to be the same. It's really broken record. You go to the gym. What is your trainer have something new to say each time? No, you just have to keep going. And you're going to always keep going. All right? And you're going to always keep learning. And you're going to always try and make more money and have more free time with your family. You just have to do it. My wife's listing a property. She called an attorney this morning to find out how to 1031 exchange, to line that up. Then the property goes up on the listing. Somebody wants to buy it. Realtors need money, so they're going to find a buyer if my wife doesn't. Then we're going to sell it and 1031 it into a more profitable single-family rental. So I got this 40 days to find that. So that's a 4-month It's a 4-month process. It's a 4-month process before I put one hammer, one nail, and one 2x4 on that new property. But if I don't start today, the clock doesn't start on the 4 months. And that 4 months is going to be here before you know it. And then what we should have like, you know, they have the balloons on the cruise. They come out of the ceiling. Yeah. We're going to have money just fall from the ceiling. And it just a cha-ching.
As long as I don't have to clean it up.
You'll be fine. We'll have bacon flavored money. So our dog Boy Toy Roy, also known as P Pitty, he'll pick it up. That's how you do it. You have bacon flavored confetti. See, we just came up with $1 billion invention, right?
It's a great
Clint?
idea. Bacon flavored money.
Bacon
confetti.
flavored confetti.
So what we're getting at,
Go
folks.
ahead, make my day.
So what we're getting at, folks, is we are at a point to where we are no longer working for money. Money is working for us, and that's the point you got to get to. And it's going to be a different spot for all of you because you're all doing different things. But the moment you can make your money work for you, you're going the right direction.
Weird, wild stuff. Yeah, man. And if you have any suggestions about horrifyingly bad impressions that I can do, other than the 28 that I do now that are terrible,
Yeah.
please email us. Go to the website. We don't promote. Frenemiesshow.com. Look at the content. Give us suggestions. Only give us good suggestions.
Yeah.
All right? If you tell us there's something wrong with the show, we might have to, Doug O is going to go to your house and ask out your daughter if she's, of age. All right? So just be positive. Subscribe. But no, you can give us some tips and things you'd like to see. We're always looking to improve. We want this to be the best. And I do think things backwards, which drives Doug O crazy. I built this studio before we did a show. We're doing the show. We don't have an editor. We don't have a social media marketing. We don't know how to splice the video together. But that's how I do things, and it eventually does work out because I don't give up. So if the first 10 shows aren't perfect, then the second 10 will be. And it doesn't mean that you have to do things the way that we do things, but why not figure out how to succeed and get there? All right? If I'm going to the gym myself, but you're hiring a trainer, that's fine. We're going to get there together. All right? If I'm purchasing investment properties, real estate, to buy passive income, and you're investing some other way, that's okay. We're both going to get there. What you cannot do is nothing.
You have to do something.
We don't want you just to get older. I see these people everywhere, and it looks like they're just getting older. They're not building businesses. They're not building an empire.
They're not trying.
They're not trying. They're not going to reach their potential. This is what great. Bradley Cooper had a great interview. He's been sober a long time. And one of the things when he was having a crisis and he was drinking, he said, this drinking I'm not going to reach my full potential. Okay? So I have this drive, this motivation to succeed that's embedded in me that I'm infected with. And Doug O has caught some of the infection.
Like a vampire bite.
Yeah. All right. So doing it. I'm not talking about doing it. I'm acting. I'm doing it. You've got to act. You have to make a decision to succeed.
Even if you're doing it wrong, you're still doing it towards the target.
That's right. You just have to get going, get started. The same old platitudes will always be the case. One more rep, one more dollar saved, come up with a savings muscle, figure it out. Then you can afford all this worthless crap like this studio and the signs, and then you can get a George Bush mask like me. You guys are terrorizers. I got to come up with something else George Bush said, because that's all I can think of. Good times.
Also, if you see the John Claude Vet Dam and us at any local car show here in Central Florida, please come say hi.
It's going to look something like this, but cooler. Black rims, red racing stripes, scissor doors, and the two best-looking dudes in Orlando are going to be getting in and out of it.
Yeah, Killing It Carl and his buddy.
And that's the correct spoiler, though. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, the exhaust is painted black, and there's a bunch of red here. All that really matters, despite what we've been talking about, it's that old saying. Man, you guys, some people seem to be under the impression that having a really cool car makes you great. Yeah, those people would be right. Okay? The faster the car, the louder the exhaust, the more horsepower is all that really matters.
There is something to it. They did make it right when they started making cars a long time ago.
Yeah, they did. Good times.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Huh? What? Huh? What? Huh? I can't see.